Hi, I'm Charles with Anycap. Previously, Bai was accepted as a disciple to become an immortal. In the immortal realm, Bai would discover that his chosen walk is able to double the power of anything he puts in it. However, he loses some lifespan when he does. Later, Bai's chief forces him to join a competition, so he refines his sword for a third time, greatly increasing its strength and speed. Although Bai behaves like a coward at the competition, he would eventually win thanks to his refined items and his knowledge of plants. However, afterwards, he would be warned about being targeted by someone in law enforcement, just as they arrive to summon him. The story continues as Feng and Fei wait for the third person assigned to their group, and they lament how late he is. They don't know who it is yet, but quickly determine he must be unreliable, and soon find out that it is Bai. Bai greets them as they are both surprised to see that the law enforcement hall has selected him of all people. Feng points out that Bai is dressed for battle when their mission is simply to look for a man named Hu Yun, who they have lost contact with. It won't be a dangerous mission, but Bai explains that he would rather be safe than sorry, and Fei mocks him for being too scared to live without an extra layer of protection. Other members of the fire kitchen arrive to bid farewell to Bai, and Zheng gives Bai his walk as a parting gift. However, to Zheng's disappointment, Bai hasn't gained much weight and isn't able to carry the walk. Mei then reveals herself as she wants to say goodbye to Bai as well, and gives him some pastries to eat during his trip. She gives him elixirs and several other items to assist him on his journey as well. Hu Yun, the man they are looking for, is actually Mei's brother, and she assumes that he is just having so much fun that he forgot to contact them. Mei refuses to believe he is in danger, and asks that Bai punch him once he sees him for making her parents worry. Bai assures her that her brother is fine, and promises to bring him back safe. Their mission begins as Bai explains that it's his first mission, making him nervous, and he wonders if where they are going is dangerous. He assumes that they will be taking flying swords to their destination, but is shocked when he finds himself on a flying ship. Fei points out how new disciples aren't usually allowed to participate in missions, and Bai reveals that it wasn't his choice. A quick flashback shows what happened outside Bai's home. The law enforcement hall pointed out that Bai had not completed a single spiritual plant growing mission even after an entire year of being part of the sector. This is against sector regulations, and as punishment, Bai was forced to join the current mission. Bai then remembers how his right-hand man Bao warned him about Feng, and how Feng might be trying to harm him. Feng then explains that the ship runs on spirit stones, but they weren't supplied with many, so part of the journey will have to be on foot. They arrive at the heaven-reaching river, which serves as the source of spiritual energy for all the sectors. The further downstream you go, the more sparse the spiritual energy is, and Bai can feel the difference as they move. Bai's two companions are then disappointed to hear that this is the first time he is hearing about there being other sectors. Just then, they reach their final destination called the Fallen Star Mountains. Bai can't understand why they don't just wait till the morning to explore, as he fears there might be dangerous beasts lurking around. He becomes even more terrified when Feng explains that the territory of the demonic bloodstream sector is just on the other side of the mountain. Bai then composes himself to prove that he isn't a coward, but loses it instantly when Fei tricks him. Bai explains that he isn't afraid and that he just likes being very cautious, as he nearly gets killed by a hypnotizing flower. The group then stumble upon a rabbit's corpse that clearly didn't die of natural causes, and an evil energy can be felt around it. Feng and Fei both become very nervous as there are clear signs that it is the doing of a two-headed bat. Two-headed bats have poisonous claws and teeth that cause choking upon contact with blood. The trio then tense up as something can be felt approaching, and Fei must save Bai from being crushed. They're all shocked to see that a giant is the cause, and Bai is then the one to save Fei as he explains that he has a lot of experience with snakes. They think they are safe for a moment, but the giant appears above them. The two stay completely still though, and the giant just leaves. Bai can hardly believe what he just saw, and Fei explains that it was a behemoth with strength beyond the Foundation establishment level. If they had been found, then all three of them would be dead. Bai is amazed at the fact that they have already seen the most dangerous thing there, but Feng explains that it wasn't even close to being the most dangerous, and they will likely encounter more dangerous beings. Bai pretends not to be afraid though, and as he walks away, we see that Feng puts something on his shirt that wakes the two-headed bats nearby. The bats are extremely agitated, and the group must do all they can to fight them off. There are too many though, so they decide to separate and meet up outside the forest, but Bai is nowhere to be found. Fei calls him a coward as she uses her immense power to fight several bats. Afterwards, Feng states over a transmitter that no matter how lucky Bai was to escape the bats, it will be impossible for him to make it out of the forest alive. Fei arrives soon after, and Feng says that they can only hope that Bai is okay. Faye refuses to sit idly by though and wants to look for him. Fang points out that the two-headed bats are most active at night though, and going back would be suicide. Fang takes responsibility for bringing them through the forest, but Faye points out that no one could have predicted the bats being there. She goes on to say that they should eventually go searching though, so that they can at least bring Bai's body back to the sector. Back in the forest, we see that Bai is running from the bats and exclaims that his life is far too valuable to just let the bats catch him, but he has run out of running room. The next morning, Fang pretends to be disappointed that Bai didn't come to their smoke signal, and Faye thinks about when they first met. They feel like they can still hear his voice and realize that it's because Bai is standing right in front of them. Bai explains how terrifying it was for him and wonders if Faye was worried since she has dark circles under her eyes. Fang is in awe to be seeing Bai alive, and Bai states how the bats chased after him relentlessly. He asks that he never be left alone again, and Faye wonders why he didn't come to the smoke signal immediately. Bai is sure Faye was worried sick about him now, and explains that once he decided to fight the bats, things became exciting. The fight helped him realize just how powerful his little wooden sword had gotten, and Fang is stunned to hear that not only did Bai survive, he managed to defeat the two-headed bats. Bai then explains that he also discovered that the tooth of the bat is a rare material for refining the burning blood incense elixir, and so he spent the entire night extracting them. They are about to leave, but before they can, they are attacked by an eye above them. Faye saves Bai, and Fang explains that the eye is an ancient beast that is able to slowly drain a person's true energy with its stare until the person dies. Afterwards, their search for Hu Yun continues as Bai calls out his name, and Fang soon reveals that he has discovered Hu Yun's position. They follow a spirit stream disc which indicates the last place Hu Yun's transmitter emitted its last signal, but Hu Yun is not there. Fang realizes what is going on and reveals a message left by Hu Yun. It reveals that Hu Yun discovered strange clues in the mountains, so he went to investigate. He doesn't leave information on the clues though, so Faye wonders what could have been so urgent. Fang speculates that Hu Yun might have went to see a clan that guards the border of this region, and Bai thinks they should report back to the sector before deciding what to do. However, Faye refuses to alarm the sector over such a small matter, and is not willing to abandon Hu Yun. Bai explains that he is taking everyone's safety into account, but is convinced that they can give a full report after they complete their mission. Just then, we watch as two people run through a forest as they discuss how important and urgent what they are doing is. A force begins to restrict their movement, and a man appears surprised to see two demigods before him, but he tells them that they must leave. Elsewhere, Bai's group arrives at the border that is seemingly desolate, but Bai is startled when someone from the Lucian clan emerges from the building. They are welcomed inside, but Bai points out how the place is clearly strange and suspicious and begs that they not go inside. The decision has already been made though, so all Bai can do is depend on his trusty protective talisman to keep him safe. Inside, Bai can't help but notice how strange the trees are and how incredibly silent everything is. The man explains that the leader teaches that stillness is the best path to cultivation. Fang is eager to meet their leader, but the man explains that they all simply need to just follow him. Eerie singing can be heard in the distance as Bai smells a scent that reminds him of the spiritual food from the fire kitchen. The voice singing can be heard telling listeners that they must be obedient and should not cry. Bai is concerned as always, and Faye tells him to just wait alone. The creepy singing doesn't stop, so he continues following the group, but he considers for a moment just returning and taking his punishment from the law enforcement hall. Just then, Bai hears footsteps and is attacked by a red shadow. He tries to explain it to the team, but they don't believe him. Fang realizes that the man has disappeared though, and the others realize Bai wasn't just hallucinating from fear. Faye warns not to touch the ribbons as they will cause a person to become deranged. The man is the one behind the attack, and Fang explains that they are simply looking for someone. The man doesn't care and explains that if someone did come there, then he is now gone from this earth, and they will be able to join him soon. Fang vows to make the man pay for betraying the spirit sector and begins the fight. The man explains that fighting back is futile, but Fang manages to put up a good fight. The ribbons are overwhelming though, so they must run. Bai attempts to report back to the sector, but the transmitter isn't working, as we see that the man simply watches them. Before they can reach the exit, Fang is shocked to see an array unique to the blood sector begin to form. Faye points out that an array that large must have taken years to form. Once it is complete, their life will be drained and they will all die a slow death. Bai runs around, terrified to realize that his life will end there, but instantly composes himself to save Faye as she is attacked. Faye then must search through the rubble to find Bai, and he once again points out how concerned she was for him, but she explains that she just doesn't want to owe him a favor if he was killed because of her. Their moment is interrupted though by the man, who explains what an honor it is for all of them to be a part of the Lucian clan's spiritual sacrifice. Feng can't believe that Bai is running for his life once again, but Bai proclaims that running is better than just waiting to become fertilizer. Bai thinks he has found a way out, but quickly realizes he has been tricked, and Faye points out that the man is using the array's power to cast his illusions. Faye decides that she must face the man head on, and does her best to get close to him. This proves extremely difficult though, so she uses an explosive pill to hurt him. The man disappears after the attack, and Faye is shocked to see Hu Yun. Bai recovers from being knocked back by a demonic creature, and vows to get his revenge, but we see that he faked it so he could run towards the exit again. The creature manages to stop him before he can escape, but Bai uses his sheer strength to send it into the air. He eliminates it and notices that doing so weakens the array, but doesn't want to waste any more time as this is his best opportunity to escape. He stops himself though as Faye brings the very badly injured Hu Yun to him. Hu Yun finally wakes up and warns them all to run as the Lucian clan has defected to the bloodstream sector. Faye explains that they can't escape as the soul-sucking array is complete, just as roots emerge from the earth to continue attacking the group. Bai reveals that he made a hole in the array and Faye uses it to escape with Hu Yun. Bai is still stuck inside though and is shocked when Feng requests his assistance. Feng had really just used the opportunity to make sure that Bai would fall victim to the attack of the roots. Feng explains that Bai managed to survive the forest but isn't so lucky now as he will remain under the roots forever. Feng is shocked though when he looks at the opening in the array, and Faye from the outside points out how their only chance at escaping is closing. Inside, Bai wakes up after realizing what Feng did and vows to not let himself die in such a place. Up above, Feng is being consumed by roots as well, and plans to use an explosive pill to free himself. However, he is shocked to see that Bai is still alive when he emerges from the ground. Feng states that he'd rather they die together than let Bai escape, and launches the explosive pill at Bai. The explosion is massive and Feng is consumed by roots immediately after. We see that the explosion pushes Bai out of the array, and he is surprised that Feng actually tried to blow him up. Luckily for Bai, he trained hard to achieve undying skin, and isn't hurt at all. We then see Feng emerge from the roots as he vows to tear Bai to pieces when he gets out, but the man from earlier explains that he will never escape their array. Nearby, Bai pretends to be upset that Feng was left behind, and credits Feng with saving him. Elsewhere, we are shown that the Lucian clan is performing some type of ritual, and the man from earlier reports to their leader named Chen Yu. He explains that he only managed to capture one of the intruders, and the intruders managed to escape with Hu Yun. Chen Yu isn't too concerned as they must focus on their goal that is only a couple weeks away from completion, but the man still promises that the intruders won't be able to leave Fallen Star Mountain alive. Elsewhere, Bai laments how the transmitter isn't working, and Faye wonders if they will be able to escape alive. Hu Yun explains that knowing the Lucian clan has betrayed the spirit sector is too big of a secret, and the clan definitely won't let them live. Faye begins to cry when she is overwhelmed by the fact that they likely won't be able to escape, especially since Feng couldn't, even though he had reached level 7 key condensation. Faye points out how Bai has always put his life above everything else, and wonders if he is extremely scared now that they are being hunted. Bai reveals that he is scared, but explains that it only motivates him to try harder to escape. Faye is scared as well, but agrees that they should fight back with all their strength, so the three of them can return to the spirit sector together. Hu Yun then explains that he has recovered a bit, so Bai gives him the punch he promised Mei he would give for worrying their family. Hu Yun then realizes that their group must have flown in on ship since they are unaware of the terrible state that the small villages around the mountain are in. He explains that the Lucian clan partnered with the Blood Sector to overcome spirit power restrictions set by the Spirit Sector. They murdered innocent people to absorb their breath of life and left no survivors. He thanks the two as he surely would have met the same fate and asks that they all leave quickly. However, just then they are struck by a vicious attack and the man from earlier explains that they have unfinished business. Faye doesn't want to hear him talk anymore, so the man prepares to send them off on their final journey. Faye tells Bai that he must run away and report what is happening on the mountain. She demands that he go and do his best to survive, so Bai takes off as fast as he can. He repeats to himself over and over again how he must not die, and will do whatever it takes to survive. Bai runs faster and faster as he thinks about the terrifying power that the man wields. He falls down soon after and tells himself to continue running, but can't stop thinking about Hu Yun and Faye being attacked. Back at the fight, Huyan and Fei are in really bad shape as the men of the Lucian clan torment them. Fei puts up a fight, but the group leader just instructs one of his men to kill her. Huyan can only beg that they stop as Fei prepares for her death, but the man isn't able to complete his attack. Everyone is then shocked as they see that it's because Bai has returned. He explains that he couldn't abandon them and promises to protect their lives from now on. Thanks for watching part 4, 4,000 likes and I'll know you want a part 5. Also, all other parts are in a pinned comment below.